Welcome to the American Soybean Association stage. I am Brownfield anchor reporter Meghan Grebner. With me is Jerry Seuntjens, a farmer. You get it, standing. I have been here all afternoon and have not received one round of applause.
Nice.
You are from Kingsley, Iowa. So thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Let's start first and tell folks a little bit about your operation and a little bit about your farm.
You bet. I live in Kingsley, Iowa, which is in northwest Iowa, small little farming community. I grow soybeans and corn in a 50-50 rotation. Farm pretty much by myself and do custom whatever you want me to do. Custom spraying, custom planting, whatever it takes to adapt to this newer technology. So,
do you feel like a little bit you kind of have to diversify what you do because agriculture seems to be changing and there's a little bit of uncertainty and volatility right now?
Yeah, I look at the new technology, anything that can help me and my farm to be more efficient. That's the name of the game. And if I can, I have a passion for it, enjoy doing it, and then if I can help other fellow farmers out with it, it's a win-win for me. So
let's start first and talk. You said roughly 50-50 crop rotation.
Correct.
So as you look at some of the technologies that you incorporate on your farm, what are some of the practices that are a necessity for you?
Right now, using like Fieldvue, for example, is key. Keeping track of all the different layers that every time I'm going across the field. Seed advisory is another one. Placing the right seed, the right location is giving me one heck of a lift because of it. And I'm not changing anything I'm doing. It's just finding tuning what I'm doing to do a better job on every acre. So every acre kind of stands on its own and doing a good job with that.
When you look at...
We're trying to move microphones closer to we can't.
Oh, really?
No. Sorry. All right. So when you look at the technology, you mentioned we're talking about Fieldvue to be able to watch everything. You're talking about to be able to monitor. So how has that technology changed how you farm, and why has it become more vital to what you do?
It's not only letting me see what I'm doing, it's keeping track of it and receiving all that data, analyzing it, and getting better at whatever I'm doing at the time. And every acre kind of stands on its own, and I can sit there and fine-tune it and try new products out there, fine-tune the fertilizer, the chemicals, whatever it takes, and just my goal is to try to do better every year, do a better best every year if I can. So
be better. I have a coworker who challenges all of us to be better at what we do, and I guess you can look at that with better yields, better productivity year after year, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so talk to me a little bit about, as you look at opportunities in the future of agriculture, carbon is becoming big. How do you look at that? And the conversation is becoming big. How do you look at that as an opportunity for you as a farmer?
I think we're really in the infancy stage of it. There is a carbon pipeline coming across some of my ground. I don't know enough about it. It's just really early in the stage. I realize, we're going to have to, there will be a chance to capture some of this carbon and dollars on this, but I think it's kind of early in the stage because the price point isn't quite there to make it worthwhile. Everything has went up so much in the last year. It's a whole new ball game, and that's got to kind of catch up to everything else. But it's a step in the right direction.
Knowing that input prices are rising and there's volatility and uncertainty in the markets, how important is it that you're able to keep track of everything, to monitor everything, and have those tools and resources available to you?
Oh, it's very important. You got to know where you're at to keep track of it, so to get better at it and see anywhere where you're hemorrhaging to where you're doing really good to do better at it and capitalize on that. So it's extremely important. I know things are tight and the prices, the commodity prices are very expensive, but I was doing it when things were really good and the prices weren't. Because, I mean, why give up any kind of money that you can save on your own? And using, a product like Fieldvue, it really helps. You can analyze all of that and get better on every acre.
Does it become that much more important when there's that much more at risk? We look at these, you don't want to give away, we don't want to give away dollars, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's I look at it as just as important back then. I mean, as soon as I can analyze anything, you might as well. It's money being wasted where you didn't have to before. And yes, the dollars now, it's getting more important, but I think it's more important back a couple of years ago too. So it's just getting better and better at it.
When you look at the 2022 planting season, I know we're still fairly early March, but it's not
It's around the corner.
It's right. It is knocking on the door of importance and priorities. Right. So talk to me about this growing season and how you're looking at this one, maybe differently than you did a year ago, 2 years ago.
Every year is different for me. I analyze last year, see what I did right, see what I did wrong. To get better, you might do some wrong things and learn from that and get better at it. This time of year, I'm always planning, trying to place the seed placement is important. Seed placement, seed population is important on every acre. So kind of analyzing that, getting a game plan, and then hopefully implement it here whenever I can get out there in middle of April, end of April, hopefully.
How does we know some things that we can control, some things we can't control? Weather is one of those.
Weather has just been killer for me this year.
But talk to me a little bit about the weather that you from last fall, into the last growing season into this spring.
So 2021 has probably been the most challenging year I've ever faced as far as weather. Extreme drought. Sub 5 inches of rain for the year. In my area, in my particular, and that's another thing with Fieldvue, I can track all that and see what fields got what. But in my area where my house is, extremely dry. Got things planted, caught a couple of rains, crop came up looking good for the tough weather. Hailstorm came through into June, wiped everything out. Mainly my soybeans, wiped them out. Replanted, caught some rains later in the year, and it was blessed with a really good crop, even though got hailed on and planted super late. And then in December had a tornado come through and wipe out a lot of my buildings and machinery, and still dealing with that right now. So
those uncontrollables, you mentioned Fieldvue helps you monitor and keep track of some of your weather. How can you utilize that application and that tool to maybe not predict what's going to happen, but maybe make it less, I don't want to say less risk, but to be able to manage some of that data and use it to guide moving forward as we get into the 2022 planting season?
Well, it helps us if we know what that field did as far as moisture-wise. Maybe that was the key for success or failure. And instead of blaming it on the hybrid or the soybean side of it too, same thing. And, learning that, hey, it didn't receive as much rain as this one. So we can assign, I don't want to say assign, but, put the blame on where it needs to be. Hey, lack of rain, maybe, timing, tillage practice that went wrong, who knows? Or a success that you're putting the right fertilizer, right location, and kind of grow from it. Once you got the right, recipe, and sit there and tweak it and try to get better and better every year.
What's been the most impressive technological advancements in terms of seed? So let's think biotechnology, traits, hybrids, those types of things that has come in your career as a farmer.
So for me, probably the biggest thing is the seed scripts, placing the right seed, the right location. My soil's very substantially going across the field. So that has given me the biggest lift, is planting the right seed, the right location. And I'm going across the field already, so I like trying things that is not costing me anything. I'm going across the field anyway. It's just placing the right seed, the right location has produced a really big lift for me.
Talk to me about genetics. What are you excited about in the future, knowing what's coming down the line?
So yeah, I do know what's coming down the line, and one product I'm super excited about is short-statured corn. I think that's going to be a game changer.
What makes it so exciting?
One, it's short. I can relate. It's the whole genetic of it being short. I can use my sprayer I have to put on fungicides because kind of a control freak, and I can control when that fungicide is applied. The nodes are a lot closer. It can handle windstorms a lot better. Supposedly, they're still doing some testing on it. Better nutrient uptake because they're shorter. Yield is the same, if not better. So I really think it truly is going to be a game changer.
Walk me through how things are. So you're what, a month and a half away, maybe two, from planting?
Sure.
Are you a soybean first planting guy? Have you embraced that, or are you still corn first and soybeans come later? Or is it mixed?
I won't say later. I mean, I try to get them both, within a relatively right time. But yeah, usually corn comes first, soybean is later. And here's the example. Last year, like I said, I had that failure of a hailstorm and replanted the 29th of June, which was some people planted 2.5 months earlier. I got the same yield. It just goes to show you it's just whenever the rain comes. We learn from that, and no one knows the answer when is the optimum time to plant. So just get her done in a timely manner and hopefully do it placed correctly.
Let's talk a little bit about just farming in general right now as you look ahead to this year. I know as I talk to farmers around the country, concerns about getting supplies, being able to have access to that. How are you, parts, labor, all of the things?
Yes, all the above.
All of the above. How are things looking for you in terms of availability and access as we get ready to start?
So I'm a big planner. So I've already planned for this season already. I mean, I have my fertilizer on, got the seed already locked up and, ready to go. My concerns is coming this fall, it could be a train wreck. I mean, you listen to the news today and a lot of fertilizer comes from Russia, Ukraine area. So that's going to trickle down to us, and it's not going to be a good thing. It's going to be a tough market to, figure out. And, having a tool once again with Fieldvue, we're going to really have to tighten our screws on everything. Maybe not ply as much, but make sure we're doing it right. Otherwise, we just cannot be wasting anything at all, because it's going to be very vital to get that lift that we need. So that's the game plan.
How much precision agriculture, those types of tools, do you use in combination with like your Fieldvue and those types of tracking and technologies?
A lot. I've adapted to it earlier, mainly because of, one, I enjoy trying new things. Two, I had to try to be more efficient, trying to do all this stuff myself. And anything that can make me more efficient, like let's say the auto track or row shut off, swath control, to you name it. Last summer with Fieldvue, they had me try with Centera. They flew the field with a drone, found exactly where every weed was, and gave me that prescription, and I could go out and just spray exactly where that weed was at every point, and save me substantial amount of chemicals, which is great for the environment and save me a lot of money that way. So I like trying them new technologies like that.
Jerry, as you look ahead to the next generation of America's farmers, what do you want to share with them, and what do you want them to know about what you're doing and the excitement that you and love that you share for farming?
I truly believe it's going to change a lot. I think the dynamic way a farmer looks will be a lot different. We're getting into autonomous tractors now, so a traditional, we'll call them a non-farmer, can be farming sitting in their living room. You could be running it it's going to change the landscape here in the next how many years? Probably after my time, but the next generation, I think there will be a big change, and we're this newer technology on the spraying side is getting better and better, so it's going to be a game changer. And with satellites, we can track everything. Once again, that's going to change everything. We can analyze and get ahead of any problems we have way before we get there. So I guess you could be into farming, you could be agronomist, you can get into, once again, Fieldvue, you can work at any of them companies and really help farmers out, but you really don't have to be a farmer, and there's going to be plenty of opportunities because we all got to eat and we all need food. So
on Fridays in my family, I have 4-year-old twin boys. We make them give us their good note from the week and their bad note for the week. As you look ahead, what's your biggest concern? So your bad note for the week. What's your biggest concern for 2022?
Ooh, just the inputs cost, the uncertainties is going to be difficult to try to figure out when to lock stuff up. I mean, we're just having huge swings. And even on the selling your grain, there's huge swings. I mean, you could sell and it drop half the cost, and I try to sell at the same time, and then we're just going to have huge swings on inputs and selling the product. So that's going to be a challenge, more of a challenge than it has in the past.
And your good note?
All this new technology coming, it's going to help alleviate some other problems that we've had before. Yes, we're getting new problems now. This is the way the world is. I mean, as soon as you figure out one problem, another problem comes along. So, I mean, that's probably my good note, I'd say, is the better technology that we're seeing down the pipeline and we have now.
I don't think there's anybody that's more versatile than the American farmer.
Yes.
and really more resilient as well. So I appreciate you spending some time with us here at Commodity Classic. Enjoy your time in New Orleans.
Nice. Thank you for having me. Enjoyed it.
Jerry, thank you again, and have a very safe planting and harvest season.
Thank you.
I'm Meghan Grebner for Brownfield.